Hello friends! So it has been 2 weeks since I relocated to Berlin, this really cool city. And I haven't been updating about my life with you for a while because I was having a cold last week and I totally lost my voice, but now I'm good. So in this video I would like to give you a little tour of my beautiful room. Right now I'm living in a WG, a shared house in WhØsDu. It's a really beautiful neighborhood, and I would like to share my stories with you about settling down in Berlin and to give you some advices on how to find housings, jobs, and like how to get a visa for Australians. Yeah, so we'll start from the tour. So here is my beautiful room, and I've got the collections of my earrings, my flower, and more earrings. And here's the bed and the window with amazing view to the balcony and to the trees. So here we've got flowers, and this is like the typical old German buildings. It's a very nice, quiet neighborhood. We've got some more books, and here we've got my instruments that I carry all the way from Australia. There's my guitar here, and I've got a microphone, and interface, sampler, a little keyboard, a headphone, and this is me. Hello. And yeah, this is my beautiful little room. This is the corridor, and right now my housemates are out. Hello. And yeah, this is my room, and they've got some like vintage carpets. And then here is the bathroom. It's quite clean. Yep, they've got a cleaning plant, and that's the kitchen. It's quite organized with everything. So yeah, this is my beautiful room, and now I'd like to share with you my stories about relocating to Berlin. This is the first time that I relocate to a city that I don't know a lot of people, and I don't speak the language. I'd say so far it wasn't that easy. I'd say the most difficult part is finding a housing, and I already knew that because I came here in May for like a month. I already knew that how difficult the Berlin housing situation is. So I already started looking for housings like a month ago before I was gonna move here. And so one good advice would be check out the WhØsDu website. There are a lot of postings every day, and yeah, it really takes time. It definitely like looking for housings trained me in like spamming out emails. So basically in Berlin, the housing demand is so high and so competitive that you have to present yourself. It's like kind of like a job interview. So firstly, once you create a profile on the WhØsDu website, I wrote like a long letter about myself, including, you know, my hobbies, what do I do, I'm really clean, and my past experiences in share houses and stuff like that. Every single day you'll see a lot of posts, new posts on the WhØsDu website. So there are a lot that look really suitable. So you basically just like, you know, send them an email saying that you're interested in viewing it and you're interested in joining the WhØsDu. But I say most of the time, like 90% of the time, they don't reply you. I have no idea why, or maybe they already found somebody. But yeah, like I say, if you send out like 100 emails, probably you'll get like
maximum 10 emails back, being optimistic. Yeah, and out of this 10, probably, I don't know, like 3 will invite you to a viewing, but there might be like, 10 other people view the same apartment. So in the end, the chance of getting an apartment is quite low, I'd say. It's really like a job interview. You had to charm them, and yeah, you have to be charming, be cool, be clean, be organized. Yeah, you need to be the perfect tenant, basically. That was really frustrating, and there are a lot of veggies that are quite strict, as in, there are some like a vegetarian, vegan, veggie, that they only want vegetarian people. That I totally understand. But some veggies, they went a bit extreme. Like they even say that in the description that if you're not vegetarian, like don't try to become vegetarian in this veggie just to be able to live in the room. I was like, do they have to do it? As in like I'm not vegetarian, but I can choose not to cook meat at home. But then they were like, you have to be like a real vegetarian. You can't change yourself just because you want the room, blah blah blah. I don't know. That's kind of like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. The housing situation is quite ridiculous here. And so in the first month, I definitely attended. So after arriving here, in the 2 weeks, I attended maybe around 5 different viewings, and each house has its own like characteristics, I say. Like some of them you live with old couple, like that's definitely a no-no. And then I don't know, the housemates really matter a lot to me, and I was quite lucky that I found this one, but it's a short-term one. So yeah, like the person from this room was gonna travel for 1 or 2 months, so I'm like subletting the room, and there might be a possibility to rent it long term, but the other housemates have to decide together on whether they want me to be a long-term tenant or not. So it's still another selection process, let's say. And the other tricky part is the thing called anmeldung. That's like the most important thing you need to actually settle down in this city. Without this, you can't open a bank account, you can't have your tax number, then you can't find a job, you can't start working. So without this anmeldung, you cannot really work in Berlin, even though you've already got a working holiday visa or any kind of visa. And a lot of landlords, they don't give anmeldung for various reasons, because they don't want to pay tax, or I don't know, they don't want to pay extra, or they don't want to let the government know that they rent the room to someone else. I don't know, various reasons that I don't give you. So a lot of housings you find, they refuse to give you anmeldung, even though by German law that you have to register at this place after 2 weeks moving in. Well, in this country full of bureaucracy, it's really hard to get around it. So it's like a chicken and egg, if you can't find a housing, you can't find a job. But if you have no job, the landlord doesn't want to rent it to you, so you'll be homeless. So it really makes poor people stay where they are, it's really hard. A lot of people would say that Berlin is not the city for starving artists anymore. The gentrification is quite obvious here, I'd say, and a lot of people are quite against it, but it's definitely happening. So when I was living in the house store, I met some people who lived in Berlin like 5 or 6 years ago, and their expectation about the rent was around, like 250 to 300 euros a month in a perfect neighborhood like Neukölln or Kreuzberg. But that was back then, and right now, you would expect to pay like around 400 euros for a room, no matter in what district. And unless you got really lucky and picked up the ones that the landlord could not raise the rent. Otherwise it's all around 400 to 500, but I wouldn't pay more than 500 for a room. So right now the trendy neighborhood to live in is like, you know, Neukölln, Kreuzberg, Friedrichshain. Like once you started searching your apartment, you see a lot of people wanting to live in those neighborhoods. So they're really competitive and the rent could be ridiculously high. Like you pay like 500 for a tiny room that is not worth it. And so I'd say the good neighborhood to look into probably would be those ones that are like within the S-Bahn, like within the ring and still well connected to the city. It will be less competitive and the housing situation will be better. And so the neighborhoods I really liked, and there are a lot of like local people living in. Like right now I'm in WhØsDu. That's a really, I don't know, like a safe, posh residential area, I'd say. And so I feel really safe just walking here at night. But I definitely have to admit there are not much happening here in daytime. It's not like, you know, it's not like all the events happen here, but it's a good living area. And a lot of people live in Friedenau, that's also quite close to the center. And Prenzlauer, that one I think is like a bit too expensive right now, but it's still like a very cool neighborhood. And near Merindon, there are a lot of university students and it's very safe to live there. And it's super close to Kreuzberg. It's also a very nice neighborhood. And I personally also like Tempelhof because it's near the big park, and that area is also quite residential, and you get this very old building called Altbau, and it's very like high ceiling, like typical German buildings. I like those kind of buildings. So yeah, I say like also like Wedding. Not sure if it's a safe neighborhood, but there are a lot of university students, a lot of Wiki over there. So the nightlife should be good, I guess. I've been to a few viewings there. Yeah, it's slightly further from the city, but it's good. And Charlottenberg is like, yeah, like a posh area. A lot of people live in as well. So don't just limit yourself to this like center area, then it will be super competitive. And yeah, if you just look further, but within the ringbahn, you might be able to find something really good and in a good residential area. So I say like the Berlin housing, even though it's that difficult, but if you put effort into looking for it, then it's not like impossible. Yeah, so it's still very possible. And I say the weird thing I find is even though the demand is so high on the Vigi website or even in the Facebook group, every single day there are a lot of people moving out of Berlin. So I say the rotation rate is very high. This is apparently, so people, a lot of expats don't stay here forever. So they stay here for a few years and they move out. So every single day there are a lot of people moving out as well. Even though the housing is not like perfect for starving artists anymore, the city is still quite cheap to live in. As in the food, there are amazing like Vietnamese Thai restaurants. Because I'm Asian, I can't live without Asian food. And they are really authentic and they're pretty cheap as well, around like 6 to 7 euros a meal. And sometimes you can get like cheap fried rice or fried noodles for like 3 euros. You get like kebab for 3 euros, and they have some like, you know, the fast food, they're quite cheap. And the normal restaurant for going out, drinking beer, they're also quite cheap. So yeah, like it still has a lot of opportunities in this city. Yeah, like keep your hope up. I definitely think this is a city that welcome newcomers. So even though there are a lot of difficulties in housing and jobs, but the whole vibe is quite welcoming, especially the expats group. They are very open to meet new people, to collaborate, and so I like this kind of atmosphere. It motivates you to focus on your passion and work on it. And yeah, like so far that's my 2 weeks in Berlin. I already feel like I sort of like halfway settled in this city. I found my own place, and I'm looking for, I don't know, to meet more people and to enjoy the city more. And so far it's been so good. I'd say it's a pretty good decision to relocate to Berlin. And yeah, like I believe that you can do it if you're thinking about moving here. Keep your hope up. Yeah, stay tuned for more stories and advices, I'd say. See ya.